Show, licensed marriage and family therapist Zeahlot Lopez talks secrets to an amazing first date. Founder of BonafideMomSpot.com, Tyler Johnson talks gracefully juggling motherhood and other amazing things. And self-care and lifestyle mentor Keandra talks surrendering in substandard circumstances. Hello. I am most excited to have Zeahlot Lopez back on my show. I mean, you're an amazing licensed marriage family therapist. Yay! So the last time you were here, we answered some relationship questions, right?
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about tips for an amazing first date.
Yes.
You know, we all go on first dates, hoping it'll be our last first date. But what are some tips, some do's, some don'ts, some things to avoid, some things to do?
Right.
You know, just the science behind the first date.
Yeah, well, I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I do see couples, I see children, I see individuals, but mostly my niche is working with women who are entrepreneurial and really just want to get to that next level. So I am an emotional development coach, and I like working with others in their businesses.
Oh, good for you. Come a long way. You were an intern the last time I talked to you.
Yes, we coming up. Like Khaled, all the way up.
Yes. Very good. Okay, so today we're talking about the secret to an amazing first date. We've all had some pretty underwhelming first dates. What does your mind and attitude have to be mentally before even getting to the date?
That's a great question, and I think it's definitely on personal development. But the first most important question I, tend to ask others who are going on a first date is, how can you expect others to spend time with you if you can't even stand yourself? So asking if you're trying to have somebody on a date 2-3 hours, can you spend 2-3 hours with yourself, right? Getting right first. And that's so important to having a healthy, balanced relationship.
Wow, okay. Get right with yourself.
Yes.
Do you want to spend 2 hours with yourself? Why would that person want to spend 2 hours with you?
Yes.
Wow. What if it's been a while and you're nervous? How do you check those feelings at the door if you're just nervous about it's been a while? I haven't dated anybody in years and I'm going on a first date.
Right.
What do you do?
My shoes have dust. Chuck your feelings in the back seat and get your Beyonce on. Because if you don't, you're never going to get over that fear. Fear is a very good indicator that there's something new around the corner. Now that human nature tells us, don't do it, but you want to because you'll never know otherwise.
That's true.
It's a missed opportunity if you don't.
Don't want to miss any opportunities.
Yes.
Never know who you're about to meet at this table. What if it's a friend or colleague that you've known for some time, so the jitters are out of the window? Is there a line to cross? Like you don't want to go too far, but you feel like you've known this person. Does it change the dynamic of a first date if you've known the person already for some time?
I think it still does, just because the fact that you don't really know everybody all the way that you think you do. You might know them as a coworker, you might know them as a friend, but romantically, they may be something very different, right?
Oh, that's true. That's
so there's always those boundaries to cross and always those limits that are healthy yet getting to know somebody.
True. We often come into new relationships with high expectations, right? So how can we encourage daters to just have fun when you're on a date? How can we encourage them to just simply have fun?
Encouraging fun is so important to understand expectations. So if we are giving any part of ourself, our spirit, our mind, our body, or some merchandise or an item, we are not doing kindness, we are doing business. So it's important to understand what our expectations are. If we expect something from someone else, we are not doing it out of the kindness of our heart. If we go into a first date or a dating experience with expectations, it's not clean.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And you don't want to start off on a bad foot, on the wrong foot. You want to start fluid, honest, with integrity.
There's difference between hope and expectations. We can have hopes, but expectations are dangerous.
Oh, let's go into the difference between those two. So we can
hope is I hope all goes well, versus I expect things to go exactly 1, 2, 3 the way I'm thinking they're gonna go.
We're gonna go first day, then by the 6th day we should be steady, we should be together.
Yes, we talk about marriage plans. Yes, exactly.
On the first date.
Yes, and I've seen so much of that because there's women out there that are go-getters and they're doing their thing, and yet they expect it to go a certain way. And it's going in there with an open mind that not everybody is the same. Yeah,
that's true. And you can't count people out because they're not the same.
Right, right.
Very true. That's why you're the expert here. What about locations? How do we plan dates that are memorable?
Yes.
Do we stick to dinner and a movie? We don't do that anymore. Is that okay?
I think that's okay, but the greatest thing is just spicing it up and having a little fun. So I have this fun thing that I do with couples that I'm working with, or individuals that are just looking to date, where they create a bucket list. So I encourage everybody.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, I encourage everyone individually to make a bucket list of places they want to go and see within the surrounding area, or restaurants, or just places they haven't seen before. And then you switch bucket lists and see if anything matches.
Oh, I love that.
Yes.
Or if anything triggers, like, oh, I want to do that too.
Right.
That'll be fun. Oh,
exactly. And it opens up dialogue and conversation of like, well, why is this on your list? And it's a great starter for a relationship.
Love it. Love it, love it. You can track too, like you can track along. Oh wow, I love that.
And so you can check it out, bucket list.
What about wardrobe for men or women? I mean, what do you wear? Casual, comfortable, dressy, overdress,
Great question.
underdress?
Yeah, ain't nobody want to go to
You're
In-N-Out
wearing a cocktail dress.
Yes.
He's got on, I don't know,
sneakers. Yes.
cargo shorts.
Yes. Nobody wants to go to In-N-Out with some heels. And nobody wants to go all busted to a nice 5-star restaurant. Communication. Okay. That's what it comes down to. Yes. You want to communicate where we going, what do I need to put on.
And starting early with that communication, like something as simple as where are we going so I can dress appropriately.
And it's definitely a style. You get to learn what the person's about. Do they tell me last minute? Are they trying to tell me 2 days out, like what I'm going to wear? But it's knowing that flow. What works for you?
I see. What are good topics? Do you talk about goals? What do you talk about? Do you talk about like bad topics? Do you talk about relationships? Should you just ignore relationships? Just tell me about keep it like PG. Like, where do you work? What do you do? What do you like?
Yeah, there's this big difference between big talk and small talk. And small talk is, how's the weather? So how's that? How's that team going?
You know what people like to ask on the first date, don't you?
Yes.
What am I thinking?
Well, like, what happened with your last girl?
What? Why are you single?
Yes.
Why do we men and women? That always comes up within 90 minutes. So what was your last relationship?
We want to know why the product's on the shelf. Why are you single? And I think that,
or why are you single?
Right. Why are you single? If you're such a great catch, like, why are you still available? Why you haven't picked up? And the reality is that if the person is mature enough and has done their work and checked their bags at the door and not like Erykah Badu dragging it behind, that they're going to be okay with that question and they're going to answer it fully and authentically. But if not, they're going to steer and be like, ooh, this food's real good, try this. So it's really just meeting the person where they're at and where their readiness is. Now the key question here is, if you get that question, how do you feel about it? Because if you're not even able to answer it, you got way bigger problems than the other person. It's working on you. Asking questions that you're not ready to answer. Right, exactly. Knowing, would I be comfortable receiving this question and answering it in an appropriate manner? Yeah.
Woo! Spicy. Well, I want to thank you for talking to me today.
Yes,
you are absolutely amazing. Incredible. You are incredible.
Thank you.
Keep up the amazing work with your business, and I wish you the best of luck with all your clients. So
yes.
Thanks for talking to me. Tyler Johnson, I am so excited to have you on my show today.
Thank you for having me.
You are amazing. You launched Bonafide. This is the Bonafide Mom Spot?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, so today we're going to talk about gracefully judging motherhood and other amazing things.
Okay.
And by other amazing things, I mean career,
Right.
businesses, school.
Right.
Like, there's so many things that, moms do. I think it's incredible.
So many.
So let's dive in. Tell me about yourself and Bonafide Mom Spot.
Okay. Well, my name is Tyler. I am a 25-year-old mom of 2. I have a 4-year-old boy and a 2-year-old little girl. And I absolutely love being a mom. I love everything that comes with it. It's probably the best thing that has happened to me in a while. So I love it. I'm also a student. Just went back for the fall semester. So I returned this fall semester and getting back in the swing of it. But I can appreciate it so much more this time because I'm a stay-at-home mom now. And I don't have to work. So I can really focus in on, schoolwork and mom. So it's cool. I like it. And lastly, I'm also a blogger. It's not the last thing, but one of my titles. I'm also a blogger. And I launched the Bonafide Mom Spot just to give mothers a space to be completely judgment-free, share what you want as free and openly as you possibly can.
Yep.
Okay.
So when did you launch it?
So July of 2017, after I was diagnosed with postpartum depression. I took it as a push to do something more instead of just to keep holding me back and staying stagnant. I felt like I was really losing myself and didn't really have anyone to talk to. I didn't feel like anyone would understand what it was that I was attempting to explain because I really couldn't explain what it was that I was feeling and going through. So I met with my therapist a few times and she just said, find a route and do something that you enjoy. And I started writing and the term blog came up for me so much. Like, it just kept coming up. So I'm like, God is trying to tell me, do something, start this now. I took a leap of faith, and ever since then, it's been phenomenal. It's
wow.
beautiful.
I'm so proud of you. How would you describe the experience of motherhood? Like you said, it's been amazing, it's exciting, it's exhilarating. Is it ever like underwhelming or hard?
Oh, definitely. Just almost every day. It's definitely a journey that is not for the weak-hearted. We have moments of fun, laugh, upbeat, you know, mom this, baby that, and then I also have moments of where I'm like, I don't want to be bothered. You know, I need my space.
Okay.
Let me be.
Which is quite natural.
Right, right. I mean, it happens, but sometimes
because they won't give it to you anyway, right?
Exactly. If they don't, so I kind of have to like force them. Like, okay, you know, 5 minutes, please.
I'm in the bathroom. Like,
right, 5 feet, 5 minutes.
Just be in here. How can you encourage ambitious moms not to feel guilty for a life outside of motherhood?
I would have to say, just. You are the prime example for your children or your child. So you don't want to show them that just because you have one title under your belt, you have to stop there. We want to show them that we can keep going. We can have everything that we've ever dreamed of and more. So that's what I would say. Encourage you by, you know, staying focused and getting it done, being a better example for your kids.
So let me ask you this. Is there a true science to gracefully juggling motherhood and other amazing things? Like, you know, your career, is it a science to it, or is it just one of those things that like you just got to roll with it and wish for the best and be positive and just push through it? Is there a science to it, or?
I wouldn't say there's a science to it.
No book that you could read and you get it all done?
No, you can read all the books you want and something else will be thrown in there like, oh, I didn't read about this.
Because every mom's different, every child is different.
Exactly, every journey is different. So no science. I would say one of the biggest tips to help get through that is, you know, just stay focused. Stay focused and be resilient. Just be resilient and you'll be able to juggle it all. And believe in yourself. Know that you're super and you can do it.
Yes, you are. It's true that moms love their families. What if you feel like buried and bogged down as a mother? What are some ideal ways to get out of the rut? I'm sure age makes a difference.
Age does make a difference, yes. Me personally, I like to make myself look good. When I look good, I feel good. So that's something that everybody can do. You dress yourself up, you'll feel better. Also, when I know that I'm having a moment, you know, I have to let everybody in the house know. I just need...
Make a formal announcement.
Yes.
Call a family meeting.
Yes, PSA. I need some time, please. And that'll help.
Okay. So take some me time, personal self-care.
Right.
Those are your tips. I love that. And then you said that's how you personally take self-care is you treat yourself. You make yourself up. You get out. And when you get out, what are some things you enjoy doing as a mom?
Going out with my boyfriend, Nick. We do so much together, and he knows that because I'm always at home with Nova. Tate's in school, so he knows because I'm always at home, he wants to get me out doing activities. Like we go horseback riding.
Okay.
What else have we done?
Oh, so you guys would grab a sitter and then just go out and still date and enjoy togetherness?
Or if we don't have a sitter, we'll even take the kids with us. We do everything together, and he has been such a support, so...
Very good.
Yes.
Very good. Well, I appreciate you talking to me. How can more women get involved with your blog and find support if they need it?
Okay, yes, definitely. You can follow me on Instagram at Bonafide Mom Spot. My personal page is TylerBeth_J. You can also follow us on Facebook at the Bonafide Mom Spot. And you can also visit our website, www.bonafidemomspot.com.
Okay. Well, we'll be looking forward to that. I want to thank you for talking to me today.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
I'm excited to have Keandra Dawes here. Hello. You are amazing. I'm so excited about this interview with you today.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing really, really good.
Okay.
Really
so
good.
Tell me about yourself.
So I'm an entrepreneur. I'm also an HR professional, but I consider myself a self-care mentor, self-care and lifestyle mentor, I guess, if you will.
Ooh.
And I primarily help women with basically healing and raising their level of self-concept. And so that really came about out of my own journey of healing and raising my self-esteem beyond the fact that, you know, I did everything right on paper with, the degrees and accomplished within my career, but there were still areas of my own life where I didn't necessarily feel good about myself. And so through my own journey of healing and raising my own level of what I believe about myself, once I actually had the courage to share about my journey of coming through that, I then began to share with others, and they would then be inspired by my story and want to do private work with me. So that's a bit about what I do.
That's
and who I
amazing.
am.
How like your
Yeah.
story is encouraging others, and you've made a mentorship and a business out of it.
Yes.
You throw events and
yes.
your coaching. Like it's like you went through it. It all had a purpose. So, good for you.
Yes,
Today we're talking about surrendering in substandard circumstances,
Yes.
which is something we all can relate to. We've all been in some substandard circumstances. So why does it mean so much to be of service to others for you as a self-care and lifestyle mentor?
It means a lot because I know what it's like to struggle privately. You can be that individual that, again, people can look at and believe that you have it all together, so how do you have any issues? Or you've come to think that even about yourself, and so there's a level of shame where you don't really necessarily want to reach out to anyone, or you're not really sure what's the right way to do so. And so understanding what that level of shame can be like, it's important for me to not only be a support, but also to be, I guess, a face of someone who is willing to just be courageous and say, look, this is who I am. I struggle. I have my issues as well, but there's nothing wrong with that. We all go through levels of pain and all have things that we have to heal from. And so, I just think that it's important for people to be able to share just the way that they have grown out of things, especially just as Black women. I think that we're taught to wear the cape, to be strong, to do it all, to accomplish more than the generations and all that before us, and having this strong legacy. And while all of that is great, and I'm definitely a supporter of that and believe in that, we can also suffer in the process where we're repressing a lot of emotions. We're basically trying to be strong by holding all this stuff in that's very traumatic and harmful for us. And so if we don't have that support and a safe space to actually be able to release and express a lot of that, then we end up becoming the damaged ones in the process. And so it's important for me to be able to, provide spaces, as whether that's just privately or through the events. I think it's important, to be able to have that in a place to surrender, and surrendering in a sense of not just the common way that we think about surrender of just releasing, but also acceptance and agreement with.
So it's an entire process.
Exactly, it's a process.
It's like levels to it.
Levels, exactly.
Well, I commend you on, staying in alignment with your purpose. I feel like that's, you're directly in alignment with what you're supposed to be and what you're doing. Generally speaking, how common is it to have emotional blockages that affect our everyday living?
I think it's extremely common. I think it is the human experience, which is why I think that just as humans, we tend to be in a place of seeking something that is better or higher than ourselves. So yeah, it's just a part of the human experience, and just figuring out how to deal with the levels of pain or things that can hold us back. And once we're aware of those things, those are the things that actually can push us through, is that awareness and the acceptance. And that's what can propel us to the next level once we actually can face it and really see it for what it is. Yeah.
Well, oftentimes we have all felt alone when dealing with our personal challenges. So I have a few scenarios I'll share, and I'd like your advice or input. You mind doing that today?
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So the first one, I want you to speak to the woman or man who is over the dating scene and feels ready for love, marriage, and family, but also feels hopeless in finding someone. Wants something, but you feel like you just might not get it.
Yeah. And I can relate to that as well, because dating, I think we've even had our own little private conversations about that, of just the journey of that and how difficult it can be, especially if you find yourself, in this very ambitious space. or you're really focused on success, and sometimes that can take you out of remembering how to be social or getting out and having fun. I'm one of the believers, or I don't want to say one of the, but I'm of the belief that when you get into a space where you're focused on your purpose or just living out of joy and enjoying life, you can then attract that to you. So rather than focusing on trying to find someone, just find the joy, find the happiness, find what it is that
find yourself.
Exactly. Find yourself. Find what it is that brings you the joy and lights you up and gives you purpose and meaning in your own life. And I believe those things will then start to become just attracted to you, because when you're doing the things that you love, you naturally will open yourself up to other circles of people, or meeting, people that you would never have otherwise met before. And so that's one of the ways that I've even found for myself to get out of that funk place where it was like, LA is whack, there's no, good people to date or whatever. To get back in that place of joy for myself. And also figuring out what is it that I need within a relationship. What are the things that that I guess within a partnership that I would actually enjoy or need, and then surrendering and becoming that person rather than just searching for it. How can I be that, that partner or that person that I'm actually looking or seeking to have, this long-term relationship
What you
with.
seek is seeking you. You believe that,
Absolutely,
right?
I absolutely believe that.
Next scenario, I want you to speak to the employee who is overworked, underpaid, and very unhappy. They've been applying for better opportunities and have no results.
So this one was also another space that I have been in, and when I was there, it was a little bit layered, and a lot of it was surrounding me not recognizing my own worth and also not operating out of my own natural gifts and talents, and being in a space where I was finding joy or operating in just my natural gifting and where I was strong, rather than trying to force myself to, be on this job overworked and doing something where it was really depleting me. And I was trying to do it or pursuing it because I wanted that external validation of, oh, she's pursuing, being a doctor, being this high level manager, when at the end of the day, that really wasn't something that I really wanted or that resonated with me. And this isn't to say that there's anything wrong with hard work. I think we all have to, put in a good work ethic in order to receive, whatever it is
Absolutely.
that we're sowing. But I would say that, when you're in that overworked place, remember that you are the actual person who has to, flow and operate in this space. So taking that time to actually just stop, let the plates fall, I think sometimes there's that pressure of trying to hold up and do everything. And really just evaluate, okay, why am I feeling overworked and depleted and just undervalued or whatever it could be? What are the things that are making me feel that way? And then figure out, okay, what would need to change? Would that change in the actual current workplace or the job that you're currently in? Or does it mean that you need to move on into a different employer, a different job, or whatever it might be? Getting clear on what that is, but really taking that control within yourself first.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Speak to the couple who have been desperately trying to conceive after a miscarriage. Speak to the couple who has been desperately trying to conceive after a miscarriage. They struggle to plan their lives out because everything is contingent on when they have their first child.
This is one of those areas where surrender really comes into play, because there are a lot of things that I believe that we want out of life. And it's not to say that it's impossible, because I do believe that when God plants certain desires within our hearts, that it's something that is meant for us to get and to receive. But I've honestly, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to what that really feels like to be in a place of, wanting to conceive and birth my own child, but I have a good friend who's been through it. And it's one of those things of believing where if you can get to a space where you trust and perhaps believe in God, because I always go back to that, and, believing that there are parts of the journey and things that we can't control. And maybe the motherhood will come in a different way. Perhaps it's through adoption, perhaps it is as a mentor or a big sister, and perhaps it's only for just that season. I have several examples of friends who they conceived or were having fertility issues for years, and finally they were able to actually to conceive and
awesome.
have birth, give birth. And it was the one thing that has been consistent in the two friends that are coming to mind actually that had that situation, is it's when they actually let it go and just, they weren't in this place of trying to force it. They were just, it just happened kind of a thing. Like it was that thing where they can't really explain it. It just, they were, in a good space with their partner, loving with their husband, or just had a great night, or, good date night, or whatever on that vacation, and just enjoying life. And they, kind of allowed the stress of like their timeline and trying to control every aspect of the situation. They allowed themselves to just, I guess, be free of that
just
somehow,
live.
and
No
just
pressure.
live. And it probably was, something that they weren't conscious of, obviously in the moment, but they eventually were able to have a baby. So I think it's when we can kind of relinquish some of that control and trying to, control every piece of the process.
And surrender.
And trust.
Always goes back to the
It
surrender.
always goes back to the surrender of trusting our own process, trusting the seasons, trusting even how it will unfold, but also believing and accepting that it will. It just may have, a different look or outcome than what it is we were initially thinking.
So true.
Yeah.
I'm so excited that you were on my show today. Thank you so much for being my
Yes,
special
yes.
guest and dropping nuggets for all of us today, and just, how to navigate through this crazy world and this crazy life that we live in, that we love it. We love it through every part, every facet of the journey. So thanks for talking to me today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a
How can we
pleasure.
stay in tune with you and your journey?
So I would, suggest people, go onto KeandraDoss.com. You can sign up there. I do have a video series which is called The Essentials of Ease, which is a nice gift if you do sign up with me, and you can find out about upcoming events. I will be hosting the next surrender sessions for 2019. So once you sign up, that's where you can find out when those next events will be happening.
Yay.
Yay.
Awesome. If I could get you to do a quick promo for me. Visit us online at ChundriaShow.com.